I am driving to Winnipeg. It's about a 7-hour drive, and then tomorrow morning I leave Winnipeg, fly to Calgary to Yukon, and then Yukon to Norman Wells. Stay over. I misspoke earlier. I went to Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, not the Yukon. Never went to the Yukon on this trip. But anyway, this is our third flight. As we get closer, the planes get smaller. And this will be our final flight on the float plane. We're in Norman Wells, Northwest Territory right now. Got about a 30-minute flight. And yep, that's jet fuel. They're always sending supplies, usually fuel, when they got extra room in the plane like that. And that's the main base camp down there. We stayed there when we first got to camp, and then after our sheep hunt. Helicopter just dropped us off. Middle of nowhere. The far one, that's where we're heading. Everything I need for a week is in here. Hiking for a couple hours. We started down by that little creek there. That's where we're heading. We've been hiking for the last 6 hours, and it's brutal. Doing it with a pack. Sucks. Sleeping bag, tent, clothes, food, gun. And back there, that's where we're gonna go looking for sheep. But we're gonna set up camp here, get some weight off our shoulders, and then day one recap. Helicopter dropped us off at 8. We had about a 6-hour hike to where we set up camp. And then kind of behind me back there, we hunted a couple ridges and valleys. Saw 5 sheep, nothing mature, worth going after. So went back to sleep about 9 o'clock. So we hunted from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now today we're moving camp again because we kind of hunted this area. So we're going on the other side of this. Gonna set up camp somewhere there. But another day of lots of walking. So yesterday the sheep we were looking at, way up there, we were way over on the other side. So we got to about 1,500 yards away from them. And that was close enough to see that they weren't worth going after. But we're heading up over the far one, and then we're gonna hunt some basins and hillsides up there. But if you're wondering how you get water on the mountain, right there, ice cold, crystal clear. This caribou had no idea we were even there. Me and Jordan were just sitting there drinking some water and resting, and he came by, and there he sees us. So this was our camping spot the second night. We had a long hike to get there, but it was nice walking at night because it was a little bit cooler. Third morning, we just got camp torn down. Yesterday, we had an 11-hour, we basically hiked all day, moving camp, kind of hunted along the way, but we left at 7, finally set up camp at 6. It's a long hike with 50 pounds on your back, a lot of up and down, covered a lot of distance, but today, Day 3, same plan, move camp again, keep on hunting along the way. We saw probably 5 or 6 rams last night, all little. One actually right there about 30 yards behind me. We were laying in our tents and he came up to say hi. Really young though, probably a couple years old. Plan for day 3 is walk all the way down there and then up, and then we'll be able to see over the sides of everything. We camped on the other side of that mountain. Hiked for a couple hours. Got down to there. Saw 2 rams way over there. Not big enough, so we hiked up here. Now we're checking out this area to see if there's any sheep. If not, we're gonna go get a look on the other side. We were camped on the other side of that saddle, and I wish I would have taken some video of it because it was a cool spot, but it was just a brutal all-day hike to get there. But to get to where we are right now, we climbed up over the saddle in the center there and then kind of followed that little stream down and then climbed up to where we are now. And on the way back, we had left our camping gear over there because we knew we were going to backtrack. So on the way back, instead of going back down, following that little stream, we stayed up high here so we won't lose our elevation and then went back. When we got over that saddle, we saw that there was a grizzly bear with 3 cubs down at the bottom. So if we would have went back the same way we came, down in the lower area, we would have ran right into that grizzly bear. Almost through day 4. We woke up this morning. We started hunting around 9. Hunted 9 to 4. Probably 10 to 12 miles. Didn't see any sheep, so. Correction, we saw 2 sheep. Took a little nap. 7 o'clock. We're moving camp. Hunting along the way. Night 4, I think. Here's today's campsite. Jordan over there. So we were over there and then came down here, came up this hill. We're camping here tonight. Probably gonna head that way tomorrow. Everything I need right here goes on my back. Camped up there in that little saddle. To get there, we had to come all the way down there. So we camped up there. 3-hour hike down there, all the way up here. It's deceiving because you can't see all the ridges and valleys, but from that saddle to where I am right now, it was 3 hours. Night 5, this is a view from our camping spot, and up in them rocky areas, there's about 5 rams. So we looked at them for a while, and then went to bed. We saw a group of rams last night, and there was one in there that we like. So we're going after them today. We watched them feed, and then they dipped over the ridge. Hopefully they just bedded down there. Typically they don't run very far, so they should just be over there. So we're gonna take a walk, go see if we can get them. So we did get a sheep. One of the little specks up there is my sheep. He's down. Had a 460-yard shot. Had a perfect rest. I love taking long shots like that. Now we got to get him out of here. Nice shot. That was right over there.
What do we got there, Joe?
We got a beauty. We busted our butts. This is the 6th day. And we hiked our butts off. I think we saw 29 rams total. We found this guy last night with a group of 6.
After how many miles or so with their packs?
I don't know. Probably 5 days. I'd say 10 miles each day at least, average. And then, so we found him last night. He was with 5 other ones. We watched him feed, and they went over the ridge. We went to bed, and we woke up. And they were bedded down when you first saw them, right?
Yeah.
Bedded down. They actually came closer to us by a few hundred yards.
Yeah, they were up on that piece behind you there.
Behind us. So he had about an hour and 40-minute stop to get into position. Had a nice rest. They were coming along this way from our left to right. 460-yard shot.
Yeah. Just right across
Down.
right on that little knob right there. You made a freaking awesome shot.
He is a beauty. I couldn't be happier. Jordan, you did awesome, man.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
Good job to you too, man.
Thank you. We busted our butts this week.
Congrats.
We earned this boy.
Hell yeah. Right on.
So my sheep was right up there. There's camp. We had to walk all the way around there, through the timbers. Got up to the top of there and shot. When we first saw the sheep at night, they were in the center of that circle in that rocky area, and they fed there for a while, and then they went over the back of that ridge to bed down. We went to bed. When we woke up the next day, they were on the right side of the screen in that circle, and they could see us. Sheep use the elevation as protection. They're always on high alert because of wolves and bears, but they get up high and look down, and they have eyes like binoculars, but they're not worried about anything coming at them from above. They're always watching below. So they could see us the whole time we were in that creek bed, all the way until we could get into the timber area. So we just had to be slow and careful, and they were probably not too worried about us because we were so far away, but you still got to be careful. You don't want to spook them. They can see forever. But it was a really fun stalk, and once we got into position, it was such a nice shooting position. It was a lot of fun. So we got him skinned, got all the meat off, the yummy back straps, horns. Now it's lunchtime. Jet boil, freeze-dried chicken Alfredo. So this is the final helicopter ride back to camp. Such a relief. And that's Stan's grandson Carter. Stan's son Dan guides, so he had his family up there for the week visiting. But it was so nice to get back to camp after a week of killing ourselves. This was a little side trip, a little boys trip we took after we were successful with our sheep hunts. We hiked probably 3 or 4 hours to this little landlocked lake there. There's good trout fishing and some grayling. So we just kind of relaxed, enjoyed ourselves, did some fishing. And that's Jordan frying up some tenderloin. We ate good that night. Sheep backstrap, fresh caught, lake trout. There's Nathan slicing up that backstrap right now.
Jacob, tell the two cowards you just told.
What do you call a cow with no legs?
What?
Ground beef. What do you call a cow with 2 legs?
What?
I don't know.
Your mom.
This is just the view from camp, from the other side of the lake. We ran up here chasing a caribou one night. And here we're doing a little fishing. And a seagull wanted our bait. You gotta be quicker.
Yeah, the loon's gonna get it.
Yeah, watch that loon. Holy shit, dude!
What just happened?
That loon just came up.
Oh. Look at that sucker.
I'll give you a walk through a camp right now. Actually had 2 helicopters there and a float plane. That's Jordan and Elijah. One of the bow hunters got a ram late on day 10 and we're leaving today, so they tag teamed the work there. Got it all done before we left. These guys know what they're doing. There's 3 of the hunters, Mike, Barrett, and Jamie. And this is the main kitchen, dining area, hangout area. They had plumbing and electricity in this building, all solar power.
Did you get her paper towels? Bobby.
So we just stayed here the night we got to camp, and then after we were done with our sheep hunts, we came back, stayed here until it was time to go home. This is my cabin. I had a cabin by myself. No plumbing or electricity in the cabins. Just a roof over your head and a bed. And that is the salting shack. Kept our, dried out our hides there and kept the horns in there. And this is storage for supplies, all the food we needed. Freeze-dried meals, cans of tuna, granola bars, coffee, snacks, everything we needed. So this guy here on the bottom left of the screen, apparently wanted by the law. So he was on our plane when we left Norman Wells, and we had to stop at a little town called Fort Good Hood, little dirt runway, to pick up some more people. I walked in to go to the bathroom, and these 2 cops, bulletproof vests, guns, everything, they came flying out of there, ran right up into the plane, grabbed this dude, cuffed him, and we had room for one more. This was in the bathroom at the terminal in Norman Wells, and the dispenser in Fort Good Hood was empty. So apparently, if you like to party, you better put Fort Good Hood, Canada on your list. I love this photo with the 5 hunters and the guides. And sheep hunting is a team sport, and it's just you and your guide, but you're all alone out in the middle of nowhere trying to get a sheep, and it is ball busting work. And the guides, they're there for everything. The only thing the guide doesn't do is squeeze the trigger. They are there doing that for us, and it's hard work, so ton of respect for them guys. It was tough to get a lot of good video on this hunt just because we were moving almost the entire time, and to be honest, the last thing on my mind was taking out a camera and filming. Sheep hunting's a lot different than, say, elk or moose or deer. With those animals, a lot of times you're in the same spot for a couple hours, glass in a certain area or waiting for something to come by. And then there's also, those animals don't move around in the middle of the day, so you got some downtime. Sheep, however, there's no downtime, and it never gets dark. So you hunt all day until you can't move anymore, until you're too tired. But you're never in the same spot more than 10 minutes. Other than to sleep or eat, we're always moving. We never stopped in an area a long time to glass an area, because you can kind of glass a mountainside pretty quick and then move on. So we were just moving the entire time. If you want to know what it feels like to be on a sheep hunt without actually leaving your house, put some clothes on, put a 50-pound bag on your back, get on a treadmill or an exercise bike, and just ride for 10, 12 hours. If you want to stop for a drink, stop and take a drink, go to the bathroom, eat, whatever, but you're going all day. And then at the end of the day, you sleep on the floor, and then get up, put your sweaty clothes back on, and do it again. do that for 5, 6, 10 days. That's what a sheep hunt is. And you don't bring extra clothes because you got to carry it around, and every ounce adds up. So I had one extra t-shirt, one extra pair of underwear, one extra pair of socks, and then every morning I would just put on whichever one was the driest. And nothing is ever totally dry. And it wouldn't matter anyway, because 20 minutes after hiking, you're drenched with sweat anyway. So, and then another thing too, if you're ever curious about how bad the human body can stink, wear the same sweaty clothes for 7 days and don't shower. You'll find out in a hurry. One of the hardest things I've ever done. And if you don't really want a sheep, you're probably gonna quit, because so much of it is mental, and you got to just keep pushing. You know, a lot of guys quit. They get afraid of heights. They get spooked by a bear story or a sore back, whatever. I had a very good relationship with ibuprofen on this trip, but I wanted a sheep and I was not going to give up. So you just keep going and going and going. But it was so much fun, and I would love to do it again. Thank you for watching this, and we'll see you next time.